Hi, so this is a video on the long run equilibrium of the ADAS model and Phillips curve. So as you've seen in the short run, the aggregate supply curve is an upward sloping curve, while in the long run, the aggregate supply curve is a vertical line, which functions at the natural level of output, which is the output that exists in the economy when it is functioning at full potential, right? So here, when there's an intersection of the long run aggregate supply curve and the aggregate demand curve, which is the same for long run and short run, we reach the natural level of output, which is at this point, and the actual price level, which is the equilibrium price. Where in the short run, when short run AR and AD intersect, that's when we get the intersection of our expected and the actual price level, which in the long run essentially become the same thing, right? Now, how economic fluctuations cause an impact on the long run ADAS. So I'm referring to my notes now, that if the aggregate supply curve shifts to the left due to any reason like increase in production costs because of which the firm is reducing the supply, what happens in the short run is that, as you can see in the graph, the short run curve shifts towards the left, that is from the blue line to the red line, right? Because you've reduced the supply. And in this situation, the price has risen from P1 to P2 and the output has fallen from Y1 to Y2. In such a situation where your price is also increasing, so there's an inflationary pressure, but the output is also falling or it's stagnating, this is called a stagflation, right? In the short run, when your aggregate supply reduces, there's a stagflation. This is what happens in the short run. Now coming to the long run, there are two cases which are possible. So in the long run, if the short run aggregate supply curve has reduced, because of the adjustment in the economy, it will eventually go back to the natural level of output, right? It will go back to Y1. However, if aggregate demand is not adjusted, if it's not adjusted because of our own consumer demand or by government policy, the prices will fall because the aggregate demand hasn't responded in the long run, right? The first case is that in the long run, if the aggregate demand doesn't respond and is kept constant, the output will go back to the natural rate of output like it always does in the long run, but the prices will fall. The second scenario possible is that, say, like here in the diagram we can see that in the short run, when the aggregate supply falls, it goes from the red one to the AS2, that is at C, while the natural level of output will always remain the same. However, if the government or policymakers have an accommodative stance and they increase the aggregate demand, the curve will shift from AD1 to AD2, increasing the price level even more than the one before, coming back to the equilibrium, that is natural level of output, but the prices will rise. So the difference here is, in the long run, the output will always come back to the natural level of output. But if AD doesn't adjust, the price will go down. And if the aggregate demand adjusts in the longer run by external policies or anything, the prices will go even further up, right? Now, Phillips curve. So basically what a Phillips curve says is that there is a trade-off or an inverse relationship between inflation and natural rate and unemployment rate. So intuitively, if we think about it, if a person is employed, right, they have more money in their hands, they're spending more, they're creating more demand, and hence they're increasing the price of a commodity, and that basically means inflation. So unemployment and inflation, that is why, is inversely proportional. That more the unemployment, less the people will spend, and lesser will be the prices and inflation in the economy. So that is basically what a Phillips curve says, that there is always a trade-off. You cannot have both of them balanced and can't increase one without decreasing the other, right? So the diagram, as you can see, is very similar to the long run ADAS model, right? However, here, instead of natural rate of output, you're studying something natural, like natural rate of unemployment, right? So natural rate of unemployment is an rate of employment that will always exist in the economy. You can't have everybody in the economy employed, right? So like the equation before, unemployment rate will have two parts. One is like a constant, that is the natural rate of unemployment that will always exist. And the other one is, since short run is a model of inflation, not prices but inflation, alpha, actual inflation minus expected inflation, essentially means that how is unemployment reacting to the change or dissonance in the actual and the expected inflation. So like the constant factor plus the response of the uh, unexpected inflation. Right now, there are two types of Phillips curve: short run and long run. So as seen in the diagram, the short run Phillips curve, which is the blue curve, is downward sloping because of the inverse relationship, and any changes in the inflation because of, say, expansionary policy, there is a movement along the Phillips curve, just like the short run AS, right? And in the long run, the Phillips curve is a vertical line because the rate of unemployment in the long run will be always a natural rate of unemployment, right? So the green line is the long run Phillips curve, right? So as you can see the diagram, the expansionary policy moves along the short run, but in the long run we say that the expected inflation matches the actual inflation, so those two merge, and that is why we have a constant or a natural rate, right? So here we're trying to understand that what happens to the Phillips curve when there is a change in the ADAS model. Okay, so if you follow the diagram here with 1 to 3, it becomes very easy. So say if there's an adverse shift in the supply curve, it shifts toward the left, that is from the blue line to the red line. Naturally your prices will rise and your output will fall, as seen in the diagram, from Y1 to Y2 and P1 to P2, right? Now, moving from ADAS model to the Phillips curve, since the prices have risen, this essentially means there's an inflation rate, inflation in the economy, and that is why you in the fourth one, because there is a rise in the inflation, there is a trade-off between unemployment and inflation rate, and hence the Phillips curve will shift towards the right. All right. In the long run, however, that was in the short run. What happens in the long run if a similar thing happens, right? So in the long run, we know that the long run AS curve is a vertical line and AD remains the same. So that is the AD is the component that will change. So for any reason, say increase in money supply or a fiscal policy change, there is an increase in the aggregate demand. The curve will shift to the right. The output will remain at the natural level of output. However, the prices will rise, right? So the prices have risen from P1 to P2. In the long run Phillips curve, the Phillips curve is not going to move and change the level of unemployment, right? Because in the long run, there is a natural level of unemployment that exists at that level. So here in the long run, the inflation rate will rise, but the unemployment rate will remain at the natural level of unemployment. Now, this is a very similar thing that he's explained. Now, here he's trying to explain that what is the actual meaning of natural. So, a natural level of unemployment is that exists at an economy which is not constant, which is not a constant rate, but it is unemployment that will exist irrespective of anything in the economy, right? Here is a very basic explanation of ADAS and Phillips curve, that how they're related. Right here, so in the long run, if you are trying to understand how the long run AS and the AD works, is that if you want, say, in the long run, the only way to increase the supply is to have a technological change, because nothing else can impact the output in an economy. So if the technological changes happen, the long run aggregate supply curve will keep moving towards the right. And to balance or to maintain equilibrium, like we see here, the aggregate demand will also keep shifting rightwards. And that is why the equilibrium will still be intact, but at higher levels of output and at higher level of prices. So in the long run, while growth happens, there is also a rise in prices because of the shifts in long run AS and the right shifts in AD as well. Right now, since there is a trade-off between the increase or decrease in unemployment and inflation, there is always a cost associated with when we try to reduce inflation. So here two concepts are important to understand, that what is deflation and what is disinflation. So since inflation is not the increase in price, it is the rate at which your prices are increasing, right? So disinflation is reduction in the rate of inflation, the rate at which your prices is rising. Reducing that is called disinflation, while reduction in the price level, that a price moves from, say, P1 to P2, is deflation, right? Now, whenever the government is trying to reduce inflation and there's a contractionary policy, what happens is that at that point of time in the short run, the inflation rate moves down. So, say from A to B along the short run Phillips curve, your inflation rate will move down. However, at that point, a consumer always has an expectation for a higher inflation, right? So, when the movement is there from point A to point B, this is at the point in short run Phillips curve, whereas this is a high expectation of inflation in the future, right? However, in the long run, that expectation of inflation also adjusts. And that is why, in the long run, you move back to the original level or the long run Phillips curve when the expectation of inflation also falls back. So, this is a difference in the short run and the long run. That in the short run, wherever there's a change, you expect the opposite. However, in the long run, your expectations also adjust and you move back to the long run Phillips curve. And this is what it's also trying to say, that you always move to a natural rate or an original rate of inflation, and hence in the long run, inflation doesn't impact your natural rate of employment. Now, here, the cost of reducing inflation. So, since, like explained in the Phillips curve, there's always a trade off between unemployment and inflation. So, there's something called the sacrifice ratio. So, whenever there is an attempt to reduce inflation, there will always be some amount of output that we're letting go in the economy, and that is the sacrifice ratio. So, say if the ratio is 1.8 to 3%, that is the estimate. So, whenever there is a reduce in the inflation by 1 percentage point, 1.8 to 3% is what is the expected reduction in the output that is sacrificed because of that reduction attempt to reduce the inflation. Right. Now, there's something called rational expectations. Rational expectations is when a person uses all information around them and then form their expectations. That is called rational expectations. That you optimally use all the information, that is government policy, forecasting, everything, and then form your expectations, and not just any arbitrary measure. So, whenever there are rational expectations, what happens is that the sacrifice ratio is smaller because your expectations are well informed, and that is why the sacrifice that you make in the quantity is smaller. And that's mainly about the chapter. There, if there's anything else that you want to know, I think the book that is given has a little more detail. And I think also this is according to Panda sir's PPTs. If there's any other detail in Niyati ma'am's, you can have a look, but I think it basically covers all the things that we need to study for the NSEM.